Good morning! Last night I posted a picture showing a grass-fed steak. It was my dinner, basically. I made dinner for myself. And somebody asked me what finished means, grass-fed and finished. So we know, right, that we're supposed to be eating grass-fed meat. That's the way nature intended. That's why cows have multiple stomachs, so they can process all of that fiber, all that plant fiber. What happens in factory farming is that they generally get fed grain, and it's generally GMO grain, which is a double-edged sword. Their natural diet is supposed to be grass. Instead, they're getting grain, and it's usually corn and soy, which 80% of those crops in this country are GMO. So it's very low quality, not what they're supposed to be naturally eating. So what happens when you feed an animal or a human something that's not supposed to be eating? It creates inflammation in their bodies. So you know you are what you eat, but you are also what your food eats. So if you're eating animals that were inflamed while they were living, they bring that with them. And then we eat that, and that's not a good situation for the human body. So grass-fed and finished, you see a lot of meats that are packaged and called grass-fed. Well, that comes down to labeling. Sometimes it can be tricky because they may have been fed grass at some point in their life, but a little trick of the trade is that at the end of their lives, they'll be fed grain to fatten them up quickly, which of course is one way to increase profits. So you always want to make sure that the meat that you choose is grass-fed and finished. So it's not grain finished, which is totally counterproductive to ever feeding the animal grass in the first place. The reason that it becomes inflammatory to the animal, because they're not eating the diet they're meant to be eating, is that it creates an imbalance of omega fatty acids in their bodies. Generally, you're supposed to have twice the amount of omega-3s as 6 or 9, and when the animals are fed that unnatural diet of grains, it kind of flips on them, where they have double or even more the amount of omega-6s or 9s compared to the omega-3s. Omega-3 is where it's at. You should have double the amount besides any of the other fatty acids. So that is the reason that you should always choose grass-fed and finished. I paid $14 for that little fillet. It may have been 6 ounces, I think. But when I eat meat, I choose the highest quality that I can find, and I don't eat very much of it. As you can see on my plate from yesterday, it was mostly vegetables. I had a cauliflower puree and a bunch of just buttered parsley veggies, carrots, non-GMO soybeans, and peas. That's what I felt like having. So I ate about half that plate, and I was completely packed. And I literally ate maybe 3 ounces of that meat. I really view meat as a condiment at this point. I try to focus on fiber and nutrients and vitamins and minerals and all that stuff. So that's my breakfast today. So I spent maybe 20 bucks on that plate of food, which is not normal for me. I don't eat a lot of red meat, maybe 4 to 6 times a year. So that was a splurge, but still, I had a very high quality meal, and it's 2 meals, so it was basically 10 bucks a meal. So you can eat well and eat really great food and not spend a whole lot of money. If you would have gotten that meal at a restaurant, the general rule of thumb for commercial restaurants is your food cost, you take your food cost and triple it to make a profit. So that would have cost at least $45 to $50 at a restaurant to go and buy it and pay somebody else to make it for you. So that's why when I eat that kind of stuff, I make it myself, because I'm not paying 45 or 50 bucks for a steak. That's probably not, I've never had a good steak at a restaurant. Honestly, now that I make it myself, way better than anything, and all I season it with is salt and pepper. It's just the cooking technique. So that is all I have to say about that. I will be going live later on tonight with some pretty big news. I've got some new opportunities on the horizon, and I'm going to come back and talk about it. So I'll be back tonight. Thanks for listening, and make it a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.